These are glute activation drills. First up is a wall bridge. You're going to engage your core, bridge up. Walk your feet onto the wall. You're a little bit further away than just 90 degrees, so find that right angle. Set 90 degrees at the knee. You want that pelvis nice and level. You're going to then lift into one leg and pump that foot up and down. I'm adjusting my hips to make sure they stay level and high, not letting them drop. Here you can see from a different angle, same exercise. Focus on where that hip position is. I'm keeping my glutes underneath me, not losing that full extension. I'm not letting that hip dip as you just saw there. Keeping my core engaged throughout. Next up, you're going to engage your core, bridge up. You're going to then keep those ankles moving. So remember, inhale, exhale, core engaged, bridge up, feel that full extension. You're going to walk your heels out, and then you're going to pump your feet up and down. So I'm bringing my toes towards my shins, keeping my hips engaged. I'm not letting them drop, keeping that full line in my body. To make this harder, when you're ready, you can turn that into a single leg bridge. Same concept as the last one. Don't let those hips dip, and keep those glutes fully active throughout. The following ones are all about getting motion as well as some strength. So here I'm going to cross over and then come through. I'm rotating into that front leg. I'm keeping my foot engaged. I'm not letting that knee rotate in. I'm keeping that knee straight. So most of this motion is happening at my pelvis. I'm trying to let that hip dip. So here's another angle. I'm letting that hip dip, reaching across and coming through. Reaching across. You can hold a little longer to get a better stretch and then come back up. That chair is really nice to add for some assistance so I can get more of that stretch. Again, I'm letting that hip dip, coming across my body, feel like a good stretch, and then come through. So this is lengthening as well as activating. Next up, we're just going to be working on some hinges and reaches, really feeling that spine extend. So I'm keeping my back straight, sitting my hips back. I am going to try to keep my hips square. So here I can make that adjustment. I'm really trying to think about making my hip nice and big. You might feel this in your upper hamstring as well. And as I can get more length in those glutes and lean forward, but that forward is all through the butt. I'm not letting my low back bend any greater. I can take this nice and slow, sliding the opposite leg back and really focus on where those hips are. Again, keeping them square and feeling that big stretch in those glutes. Nice deep breaths throughout, so you're relaxing your pelvic floor and deep hip muscles to make this easier. Next up, an assisted hinge and flex. This is getting your glutes on through that full range. This is helping with hip extension. So I'm going to get that glute active at the top. I'm lengthening by a good hinge, just like we practiced. So I'm going to hinge all the way through. Use that chair for balance and assistance. Get those glutes all the way through. Feeling a good stretch in the front of my hip as well. Now we get to practice just in a normal lunge. I just worked on all that motion. I'm hinging, keeping my back straight, thinking a little bit more about where my knees are as well. So you're going to step back, step forward, step back, step forward. This is where you can eventually add weights to turn it into a true lunge. But really, it's all about getting that hinge. So I'm lengthening my glutes. I lengthen and then I shorten. Getting that motion will overall help your glutes be more active throughout. Always do everything on both sides. When I add more of that knee bend, that's where it turns from a hinge into a lunge. From the front, you can see a little bit more of the motion I'm trying to control. I'm keeping my foot active, not letting those hips dip. I'm keeping them square. I'm hinging, then I can lower if I want to turn into a lunge. Now we're going to practice that motion. Again, that hinge into that lunge. But this time I'm going to lengthen my spine as we've practiced, lengthen my glutes, feeling that stretch. Once you get into that position, you're going to raise that front heel. I'm keeping most of my weight on that front leg. When you're ready, you can lift your arms, so you can really focus on extending through the spine. Once you can get that position, you can hold for 5, and then pump that ankle up and down. Get those hips through at the end and reset. Reaching, I'm going to hold that ankle nice and high. Reaching, hold, and then pump. Do that heel raise, up and down. This is going to get a lot of those muscles firing for sequencing with running. You're going to feel that burn both at the calf and at the glute. This is all for gastroc length. How do I get length and strength in my calf? I want to go negative. That means below that neutral position. So you're going to go up with both ankles, lower, lower, lower with the 1. Up with both, lower with the 1. I'm trying not to let that inside of my ankle bone really fall and rotate in. You're going to do this 2 different ways. Straight is what I just showed you. So up with both, lower with the 1. Then you're also going to do a set with your knee bent. When we bend our knee, this is isolating or really utilizing more of that soleus. So I'm going to bend that knee, same thing. Up with both, lower on the 1 with the knee bent. You're going to do this about 20 times, nice and controlled, knee straight and knee bent. This is working on eccentric lengthening of our Achilles. You're going to get a really good stretch in that gastroc and soleus as well.